And here we are with the nurse on the wrecker's yard. We've got Mad05 taking the role of Sally Smithson. A super quick find here as we didn't even load into the game. And we've already got it down on Nightlight at 5 gens. Is this why we saw Master picking nurse? What a start.
Now I understood why he's called Mad05 Barn, because he needs 5 seconds for the first down into the game. What an opener is that? Mad05, Jesus Christ, Nightlight doesn't even know what's happening. And we do see the other survivors being a little bit surprised as well, setting themselves up here. One on a totem, one on the first generator, but this was really, really impressive. Eternal seems to be a little bit out the loop here in the first seconds. Nobody on the generator right now as they were setting up across the Wrecker's Yard here. Matt checking on this generator as well, has 2 close by, so he also has a good eye on monitoring these generators. The question is, will he use the time he gained to attack these survivors, or is he going to camp Nightlight into the second stage? 2 survivors of Eternal now on the generators, so I would say Eternal kind of settled, but it took them a minute.
Yeah, Matt in such a good place at the moment. I think he's going to chill out here by the hook a little bit, confirm second, and just put the pressure on the survivors, put the fear into them, forcing them to run away. Bit of peekaboo over there with Zaka on the Ada. But we are going to see second stage here. Wouldn't surprise me if we're going to see the Deliverance player come in to get this unhook. But Mad happy with his second stage. He's going to venture off now, and already to a progress gen, looking for someone else. He's got the scratch marks. Is he going to be able to get the survivor? That's the question now.
That is the question here for Matt. We gotta see what's going to happen with the next one here. We are currently at the truck trying to establish a Gen 1, and I do feel like, Ban, the game just crashed for our producer.
We are currently casting the Dead by Daylight crash report.
Greetings, Editor Mathis here to give you a heads up on the next 5 or so minutes you're about to watch, in case you don't want to skip this chapter of the video. The spectators game crashed, but the staff team decided to let the game play out. There were still members of the match staff team in the respective teams' channels to watch the survivors and killers screen shares. They posted live updates on the match, so the casters had something to talk about while the game was happening in the background, and they tried their hardest to somewhat visualize it for the viewers. One of the casters keeps saying live ticker, and he meant live updates, in case that's about to confuse you. Sorry for the inconvenience, and I wish you lots of enjoyment with the rest of the video.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Yeah, unfortunately, this game is not available for you because a bug caused our producer to crash. We are trying to provide the best content as possible, but sometimes we are hitting our limits. For example, when the game developers are having issues with their game, or if other outside factors like internet connection or something is coming into play. Nothing we can do about it. We still apologize for the problems here, for the trouble, but we have a wonderful staff team in the background. Some of them saying that 3 gens popped by now. Nightlight is already killed, holding Blink, using Pop, and then somewhere in between, I love the Italian vibes. That's also part of the live ticker we're currently getting from this one. Zaka is now going down in the corner, Ban. It seems to be an epic fight between these people.
I mean, from what I've read from our team spectating the game, I think we certainly missed out on an incredible performance on both sides so far. We've seen, as you said, Nightlight dead. We saw Bubbo go down. We saw Bubbo get body blocked to the hook. He wiggled off. He went down. He got pallet saved. So it's an absolutely action-packed game, and one that we're kind of gutted to miss because of the Unreal Engine game crash. But there's only so much that you can do with a 7-year-old game. So super excited to see how this one plays out. Hopefully someone's streaming their POV of it and we get to see it eventually, but we won't be seeing it with us today. But we are reading now. What have we got happening? We've got 1 gen left. So from Nightlight dying so early on, we still have 1 gen left, and we've got Zaka down in the comp corner, taking his second hook now apparently as well. So a lot of action happening, but unfortunately we're just unable to see it.
A lot of action. Yeah, looking at the chat, what we're receiving, you guys should see it. This live ticker from our match officials there. Zaka down, that's crazy. Zaka down in corner. Corner again. Proxy on the hill. Still has Pop holding Blink on hill. So we are living it here in the background. Obviously, it would be great to show it. Yeah, camping 3 gens. So Matt with a 3 gen as well here around the shack. So seems like it's going on for a little bit. Hatch is coming into clutch as well. Might be the end game strategy here for Eternal will be closed. So at least the good news is the standing survivor is now in the end game. So we will go into setting up trial number 2 very soon, and you will have the actual gameplay. So Ban, after seeing how strong Matt started and how Master started this off, do you think Eternal can form an answer to them?
I feel like if anyone's going to have a stronger start than Mad, it's going to be Mr. Nightlight, Mr. 66 timer, right? You would think that he would come out and we'd see that same kind of performance, unless the survivors from Master are incredible stealthers early game. I think it's going to be similar, and I really want to see this one. So if we stop praying to the behavior gods, so hopefully we are able to see it. They do manage to somehow get a fresh out with Dan taking the exit after the hatch was closed. So we do have a score of 21 to Master with Mad on the killer and 11 to Eternal with 4 gens done and the fresh out with Dan. So super incredible comeback from there to get an escape, and that's what we'll be looking to beat when we switch sides. Crazy. That's
crazy, yeah. Everything looking like a 4K with the generator standing still, and then literally getting a fresh out. That's so strong, because now Master needs an out as well. Getting all generators done won't be enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will set up trial number 2. Once again, we apologize for what happened, even though we are not fully responsible, but we still want to give you the best content possible. So please stick with us. We appreciate your patience, and we will be back for you very, very soon. After the darkness of the Unreal Engine crash, there is a night that brings us some light for Team Eternal on the Wrecker's Yard. Coming in with Corrupt Intervention, Pop Goes the Weasel, Eruption, and Thrilling Tremors. Interesting pick. Would have never expected that on the Nurse, but since the perks were kind of shaking around, we need a few new ideas. And as an information tool, this works really, really well. Unfortunately, Pale is dropping this one on the wrong side and is going down very quick as well. So that is a great start for Nightlight as well.
Yeah, really, really nice start. He is quite a bit away, though, from a hook and from the other gens. We have actually had our balancing team ban Agitation on the Nurse on Wrecker's Yard solely because of her ability to get to that basement and have really nice hook placement there. So we're not seeing any Iron Grasp. That one's not banned, just as a hot tip for anyone else looking for that hook placement. But we are going to see a lot of slowdown, a lot of regression, and I'm pretty sure this is what Mad was using as well. I did hear Nightlight talking about Thrilling Tremors being the new perk of choice for the Nurse. So I'm interested to see if this kind of becomes the new meta and new build that everyone is using. We are going to be leaving the hook, though. So unlike Mad, who kind of hung around the hook, protecting, Nightlight decides to go and assert some dominance over there and push the survivors off the gen. In the meantime, we get a nice unhook coming through from our survivors team, but it does look like Nightlight is going to get minus repped for this tunneling that's happening right now on Pale after the BT hit. Hopefully those other survivors and Pale's teammates are on the gens, because one pops right now. Caster's Curse, Dyer.
Caster's Curse, you are responsible here, but we do see a slap with the D, but Pale is not going to make it anywhere. That's going to be a quick down, but at least you wasted 7 to 10 seconds here from Nightlight, pickup included, and then you're going back for the next hook. 2 gens already. Master actually really on point with the efficiency here. Win condition 10 stages, ladies and gentlemen, so that's still an out being needed, and that's quite tough against the Nurse on the Wrecker's Yard. Got to figure out how quickly Pale is going to be removed from the trial. We do have 5% on the ace right here in 2 survivors not being on a generator right now. So after a strong sign in the early game, it seems like that Master is not taking care of the objectives too good right now, but they do get Pale once again. Pedro, in the meanwhile, getting injured there. Edge map Anderson is going to serve the juice, hopefully, if you're a fan of Master, but Nightlight with confident blinks and just getting the elimination as early as possible.
Yeah, it's actually really sad seeing here that Pale is actually the survivor running for the people. So he can protect himself with his decisive strike, but unfortunately the For the People is now out of the game and not able to be used on him. But beautiful find there. I think there might be requests to see the game recording from that hit. But we will be using our Pop Goes the Weasel value over there on that engine, while our survivors seem to be getting distance, which is a good choice. And if you look around here, I think Nightlight's going to kind of monitor these gens. He does have, I mean, he can kind of stay on this side of the map. It's not really a contained 3-gen, one would say, but he certainly can control an area of his choice over here. And we do find Pedro going down Eruption procs over there on 2 gens, so we do know that our survivors are getting progress on the other side of the map. There goes one, and surely the other will come quite soon.
Yeah, that's the great thing now, right? Especially getting this generator out of the way is important for Master, but Nightlight, basically, after you hook the survivor, one needs to go for the save, and as soon as you then chase the 3rd survivor, nobody can work on these generators anymore. Matter 5 also needs to be very careful here. The injured one, Master decided to not go for the reset. Marco kinda trying to figure out what's going on the Wreckers Yard. Nightlight using the hill a little bit to potentially get some overview, but that's not going to be the case. There's Matter 5 in the corner now. Pedro with the deliverance, I would assume, so no rotation from Marco actually being needed. Makes me think why he wasn't on a generator then when that was called out. And Meadow 5 going down on the edge map tile here. Not a long chase, unfortunately. Nightlight very on point here, even in time for the Pop Goes the Weasel kick. We'll have another one very, very soon here. So that just lines up for Eternal now. The pressure's rising for Team Master, and I can't really figure out who's having the dominance in this game right now.
Yeah, it's very evenly decided at the moment. Our survivors are doing a great job of keeping up with Nightlight's pressure. We're talking about someone who I think is on almost 400 win streak in pubs with a no perk, no add-on nurse. So incredibly experienced in comp with his 66 tournament wins, and just as experienced on the nurse killer alone. But again, you can tell the kind of new meta here, Dyer. The survivors choosing not to reset, and I think that may be where they're going wrong. They're constantly being found injured, trying to progress the objectives. I definitely think here that you can kind of see the impacts of the healing changes. People can't reset, and they're not so much able to have those good chases because they're staying injured.
Yeah, the number of the healing adjustment is insane, right? It's 50%, so as compared to usual balance adjustments of other games and developer teams, 50% is definitely a very, very big chunk by behavior. They were very confident with the change they were doing, and we can see the impact right here. It makes the game quite interesting because the strategy needs to be different. Meadow 5 actually with a very, very beautiful double back once the line of sight was broken here on the edge map. Blink coming out, but what a wonderful one blink onto Matt here in the pallet. Gotta keep an eye out that there's no pallet safe, but I think that would be a little bit too much of a risk for Master. But it's always good to give the killer a little bit of a message when he's kicking the generators. Pedro still injured, so Master grinding the gens once again here, making sure that's an issue for them. And we do see the next pop kick on the fun bus. I do feel like Master repaired this gen 8.5 times now.
I think so, yeah. Should be about that. They're certainly giving it a go. There's only so much you can do in a case like this. It does make it very tricky, but props to the survivors giving it a go and keeping up. They're now doubling on that gen over at what looks like the fun bus, yeah. But look, it's just been absolutely annihilated over there. So I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to get another gen done, Dyer.
Yeah, that's rough, right? 10 stages win condition. That's coming in 2 stages from now. So it's a lot of work to do for Master and not so much work to do for Nightlight. Eternal getting more and more confident in those 2 survivors. It's also very, very hard to get these objectives out of the way. Nightlight even catching the survivor that was lurking over here in this area, blinking towards Rock, and Meadow 5 going down in the corner once again. That's leaving Marco here. That would be the fresh hook, I believe, for Team Master. So there's still a lot of potential. Nightlight going on to the way now to look for them. Meadow 5 should be Death Hook, I believe, so that is going to be no punishment for Nightlight if this player would bleed out, because the bleed out deduction of 1 point is only coming in clutch for the fresh hooks and those that have been hooked 1 time. So you basically have 3.5 minutes now to find Marco here.
Yeah, speaking of fresh hooks, here he is doing a little stealthing at the Rock. I'm going to be interested to see if Nightlight kind of... Who am I kidding? Why would I even say that? Oh, there's no way.
Stealth man!
There's no way.
There's no way.
Stealth Master 4000 over here. Nightlight's going to be kicking himself about that one. Marco stealthing for his life. Doesn't even need urban evasion. He's been in pubs. He's been watching his solo queue teammates, and he knows how to stealth. Holy. But he does come back to Mad on the floor. I think Nightlight may be assessing where the gates are and if he's able to protect them. But okay, never mind. I think he's figured it out there. He will be going back to the gen. A bit of a mind game, Arky, Andy. He knows someone's over there and he will be going to check it out. I wonder if Marco can stealth just as good this time as he did the last. We're going to find out now as Nightlight, I think, will kind of run over the area with a fine-toothed comb. We do see Marco stealthing just like he did before. I'm not quite sure where Nightlight is in this scenario. There's no real signs of him, but he's doing a really great job of being an edge map handy, isn't he?
Yeah, Marco is putting up a lot of stealth tutorial here for us, almost
Nightlight knows though. He knows he's over there. Oh, here we go.
Once again, the second battle of stealth. This time it's going to be Nightlight catching him. Took him a little bit longer than expected, but that should be just the GG now. Marco and Matt both on the ground. So Marco just going on to the hook. If Matt bleeds out, that's not going to change anything about the score. So that will be a 28-6 for the second trial, and that's going to be a very, very clear win for Eternal in set number 1. And now, Barn, the difficulty is you as Team Master, you picked the Nurse, coming in confident, trying to shake something up, and it didn't work. And you have to play Survivor straight again against Bobazavris Billy. What's your strategy?
Look, I don't even know where to start from this one. I mean, you can tell that they certainly put up a fight. They've come prepared. I think Billy being completely different than Nurse, and you know, our Survivor team have got that experience, so we would expect longer chases in that game. They started off with really, really good gen pressure, but I think towards the middle and the end of the game, not healing was a bit of a problem, being found injured, and then just not getting those gens done, I think really cost them. But Billy, whole different killer, whole different map. We're gonna head on over to Gas Heaven. So I think that they're gonna bring the pain and destruction for Bubbo.
Yeah, I hope so. They are under pressure here after the set number 1 was quite clearly taken by Team Eternal. Shout out to Meadow 5 though. That was a very impressive Nurse performance in the first trial. We feel a little bit bad for him that the entire game was not shown on stream fully. We are moving forward to the Gas Heaven and the Billy with Eternal staying on the killer side. We will be back for you in just a moment.
Welcome back, everyone. We are bringing you now everybody's favorite, the Hillbilly on the Gas Heaven. We are off to a very quick start, finding the Banana Men, UAT, Meadow 5 in chase. We do see Bubbo with the low pro chains, so not running the signature car Bubbo Raider today. We are going to be busting through all of those pallets that seem to be spawning in mid. Dyer, what are your thoughts? We're looking good.
We are looking good and dangerous with the bamboozle here on the shack. Now getting into the next one with the Matt of 5 here, and a very, very nice blind from Matt. Perfect timing, making sure that the low proteins can't do any damage, but that kind of backfires because Babu now with the potential to just go for the normal chainsaw, going a little bit around here, but Matt should reach that pallet in time. Even Lopo Chain's not able to do anything, so Babu losing a little bit of time here, not an melee action and not going for a chainsaw hit yet as well. That's coming out now. Matt actually keeping this resource for the teammates that are passing by later. We do have 3 generators, or 2 generators with impressive progression so far, but Matt needs to win this mind game with Babu right here, and he does so. Babu swinging to try force the drop of the pallet, but Matt with a lot of patience here. Very impressive stun here as well. That's a former Cold survivor. I'm really proud.
I think if he was here, he'd be saying, +5 wood to the face, get sun, stupid. Really nice to see a nice big stun on our Max as our first gen pops off in the distance there. Mad doing an incredible job of utilizing the map and its resources here as he heads back over to where the chase started. So he has taken Bubba on a bit of a map tour, but he does take an M1 in the back, and down he goes for the first hook with 2 gens done already. Really nice place for our survivor team at the moment.
I think if you're Eternal's killer, you're quite mad right now after this chase when you lose 3 generators on the gas 7. This is so crazy. Well done, Matt. Absolute opening MVP in the 3rd trial between Master and Eternal here, but now Pedro holding responsibility as well, making sure that this is going to be a very, very good chase once again. Reaches the window here, needs to find a good pallet though. There was one on the right side, but actually staying here on this tile without safety. Oh, actually, never mind, there is another pallet right here. Needs to make sure that he's not outzoned. I still will worded it well yesterday with saying that you need to get used to these new pallet spawns on these maps, but Bubazava now choosing to use the low pro chains, and it won't be enough. You have to go for the M1 here, getting a hit onto Pedro. Master absolutely shining right now.
Yeah, look at these pallets. Now I know what everyone was complaining about. You know, I think it's probably been the most asked question in the last 48 hours. Is Billy still on gas? What are you thinking? And I think this is why everyone was asking that question, because the setups that these survivors have are quite wild. A bit of an auto aim for Babu there. Look at the greed on it. This is what we don't see in comp. This is what everyone, I think everyone is looking for, is that greedy survivor. And I think we found him here with Pedro, but he does go down and he will be heading on over to the hook in mid. Babu seems to be very happy with that one. He will be getting minus threat for M1ing as Hillbilly though, so I'm not quite sure if he should be happily nodding. He is going to go off to this gen in the distance, so we know someone's here. They missed the skill check, and we are going to be bamboozling that window here. Not too much to use in this area, I don't think, after almost every chase has made it over here, Dyer.
Yeah, this is a good turn, right? Oh, actually, unfortunately, the Sir is going down over the window here. Very, very unfortunate for Master. That looked like a really, really good one as well. But the last generator already coming out. 3 stages into endgame. We do not see any endgame perk. Good for Eternal, though, that we have a fresh hook right here. But Bubazava seems to not care. At least he says that's not enough. Wants to scout at least the area around the exit gates a little bit, trying to figure out which survivor is traveling towards the exit gates. That's going to be Pedro on the one on the main building, while Nancy's on the other side. We already have Pedro opening this one right here together with Matt05, so that's just going to be some face camping action here. Very understandable though. You want to keep the points you have earned, and I think it's a good finisher for Babu here.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy to take these 3 stages off of Sir. Pretty good results considering as well, I think. So, I don't know about you, Dyer, but it's a little bit different to the Babu performance we're used to seeing. So, I'm starting to think that maybe people were right about this map. It is relatively strong now.
It is relatively strong. Yeah, Bubble also with the different add-on choice here. Maybe not as used to the low pro chains. We know that he's usually coming in with the add-on. What's it called? Help me real quick.
The tuned carburetor.
Thank you. Exactly. And he was kind of known for it, right? It was everyone was using low pro chains, and it was
it's called the carburetor for a reason.
Yeah. It's like he was known for it, and seeing him changing that very unique playstyle is very, very interesting here. So, gotta figure out if Eternal has something special planned for the survivor side as well, since the killer side didn't fully work out. We are finishing off with a score of 17-13 in favor of Team Master, and we will be on switched sides on the Gas Heaven after a short break. Welcome back, everybody, on the Gas Heaven with Mad05, currently the MVP for us after that strong opening chase in this set against Bubazavre. Finds the first survivor, but rotates one more time, expects the survivor to spawn over here in the corrupted area, and he's right about it, but Eternal Survivor already taking a little bit of distance, and actually there is a second one, so he was able to get quite a good information now. He knows where 3 survivors are from the beginning of the match, but he does mind game a little bit too long. Nightline has already left this one. Chainsaw coming in, and Nightline not able to dodge it, going down very quickly here. Mad05 once again, like in the Nurse game, a strong opening, and same as in set number 1. Where's the crash behavior?
Mad05, hard gaming today. Holy moly! I was expecting a crouch check there from Nightlight. You know, if anyone's going to be crouching on the Hillbilly today, it's going to be members of Team Eternal and all of their knowledge and their survivor gameplay and outplays for our poor boy Max. But we are going to be doing a little bit of confirming, just like we did in the Nurse game. And he's got no real point to lead this early on, but he's just going to assert some dominance here with his Rev Chainsaw, knowing that someone's around here. He did see someone lurking near the car pile now, but it does seem they all just kind of are doing their thing and getting some gen progress, which is looking good. Matt's going to sit here looking a little bit like a silly goose, wasting his time confirming stages when we're split on 3 different gens.
Yeah, this is now going to be the pressure of Eternal as a reply to Matt forcing the second stage onto Nightlight here. That's going to be at least one. This one here from Zaka might take a little bit too long, but Babo and Dan definitely getting the generators out of the way. This is going to come in now, so Matt able to tunnel one survivor out very, very soon here. The next chase, I feel like, is going to be a very, very crucial moment in this game, because if Eternal is able to hold Matt for a long time, then with the coordination and efficiency, you can bump this Billy very, very quickly into the late game and potentially even the end game. So Matt needs another quick chase like he did in the opening one.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if he's able to get that, seeing the map that we just saw before. I'm not too sure of the RNG on this map. We didn't really get much time to kind of have a look around. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be forcing death onto Nightlight here, but Eternal, as we've seen, they're smart enough to know to get the pressure on gens. As we can see, Dan in the main building, Bubbo's starting off another gen here. It's just not worth saving at the moment, it seems. Also worth noting about our bans on Hillbilly, no exhaustions except for head-on. I get bullied every time I say no exhaustions, and then someone says, but there's head-on. So I will correct myself this time, and I'll say that there's no exhaustions except for head-on. So it can be tough for our survivors to kind of have a long chase, which is why I think Mad did so good earlier. With no exhaustions on this map, it's really RNG dependent, but we are going to be chasing Zaka around the shack. I'm not quite sure if the shack pallet's going to be dropped or not. There we go, it certainly is, but we are going to be heading off. I think Zaka's got a lot to work with over here, but we know that we're going to have Bubbo and Dan rushing those engines, making sure that Zaka's chase is definitely worth it for them.
Yeah, Zaka carries the responsibility of the second set point, basically, right? Because when we are looking onto Matt's perks, I really like the No One Escapes Death, considering the win condition, considering how set number 1 was played. It's absolutely understandable that there's a No One Escapes Death getting the points in the end game, and the second survivor fully killed. That would ensure exactly the win condition here for Team Master. So he's planning accordingly, he's making sure that he's getting everything it takes, and therefore the No One Escapes Death, a very understanding one. But we saw that they were on the correct totem right there. So 16 seconds now for this survivor here. They need to survive. They have a pallet available. Is this going to work out? Mad05 trying to go for the bloodlust, but I think No One Escapes Death will be removed in time.
Oh my god, the timing of that. But now he's going for the chainsaw on the pallet.
And this door's locked.
An incredible job. Now he's BMing. Zach is feeling so confident with his performance now. He's going around his car in the main building. He's DM'd. The DMR tech is now disabled because of that open door in the back. So I think all of our Hillbilly players have to find a new way to get this down. I'm not sure if they're setting up for a pallet save there, but you can see Dan off just to the corner of the main building, just in case Saka gets downed at this pallet. But he is going to be making a run for it. Oh! The crouch tech not working in this case, but Eternal planning to do Eternal things as usual. But is this going to work out for them? Are we going to end up with 2 slugs in a pallet? We certainly are. This is big problems for Eternal right now. No pressure, Bubbo, none at all.
And yeah, it was the risk being needed, right? But maybe a little bit too much of attacking the killer, a little bit too close to the survivor that's going down, a little bit too much in the open without a resource. I feel like they tried a little bit too much, and Burazava being caught out, Mad05 turning this potentially into a 4K on the Gas Heaven. Eternal struggling to find themselves in this chaos here in the end game. Fang is trying to find the pallet and will reach it though. They do get the pickup, but they also need the save here. So maybe now from Matt it was a little bit too greedy to go for the 4th survivor instead of just going for the hook onto Zaka, which would have at least secured the tie. So I feel like both teams are trying to force a little bit too much right now.
Yeah, really interesting to see how this is going to play out. I mean, it's Hillbilly. He can kind of stand there with his chainsaw revved and not be punished for it now with the changes to overheat. But you can see Mad avoiding the blind there. Eternal trying hard, but we are going to take that down on Bubbo. We do get the unhook. What does Mad decide to do now? I'm not quite sure, but he does want 2 slugs. You can tell he's not letting this one go. 1 slug is not enough for him. We don't have Unbreakable in play either, so he's free to slug. He's free to do what he wants.
Yeah, but I was about to say, why though? If the win condition is around the corner, you do have your tie condition now, you can just camp it with chainsaw. So I like that Matt is calming down a little bit now and not trying to be too greedy. And I do feel like that was the team communicating to him, because you could tell how he was trying to force more pressure onto Eternal. Then he turned around and he was like settling down. And I feel like Team Master was like, hey Matt, calm a little bit, we are going to win set 2 without the 4-man slug here. But it's still important, right? I do get it, because you want to assert dominance on the Gas Heaven. Matt is potentially playing the Plague as well, and he will stay on the killer side, so you have a great interest in putting Eternal in place here.
Yeah, now we did just get word that Bubbo's actually running flip-flop, and he was incredibly close with the wiggling off. It wouldn't surprise me now if we do end in a 4K. I don't think Dan's going to crawl his way out or crawl himself to the hatch. But do you know, I actually think that it's kind of funny here with the way that things turned out, with Eternal winning the pick by Master, and then Master winning the pick by Eternal.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this Season 8, right? Even yesterday, we've already seen a few shakes with the 2-1 results. It wasn't as clear at all, but I have to agree that 2 teams take each other's picks And in a very clear way as well. The score was not very, very close. Even this Hillbilly set, especially with this 4K, is going to be one hell of a score in favor of Master. 45-23. They almost doubled it. So that's something both teams have to work out, I guess. The Nurse not working out for Master, but the very known Bobazavre on Team Eternal not being able to work out the Billy as Eternal was imagining this. So we can only stay hyped for the Plague, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to switch up once again. Master, however, will stay on the killer side. I do assume it's going to be Meadow 5 coming out for set number 3 once again, and we'll see you right after a short break. And it is indeed Meadow 5 once again taking a lot of responsibility today for Team Master as a very, very important joker on the survivor side and also as killer here. Now in the tiebreaker, 1-1 between Master and Eternal after the first 2 sets. Interesting side fact, both teams have taken the set away from the opponent. So the Nurse that was picked by Master was the win for Eternal, and the Billy picked by Eternal was going to Master. So the Plague is now the deciding factor to figure out who's taking this best of 3 home. Matt catches the first survivor. That was Dan the man right here. Let's see what they're going to do. Wasting a lot of time by just circling around this water tower, and Matt not catching the first infection here. Thus, in fact, the pallet, so difficult for Dan to use it in case he does not want to get taken, but the infection coming out anyway, together with an injure. Jesus! An injure and an infection and an injection on the other killers. It's way too confusing sometimes here. German very powerful, and there we go back towards this generator right here. But besides this infection and the injure onto Dan, there's nothing happening for Master right now.
No, not at the moment, Dire. I think it's funny. We've got you and the strong German language, and then me with my 2 a.m. Australian coming in. So we are going to be starting another chase here. Does appear to be Nightlight as we see Dan get fully infected there. Nightlight dropping the pallet, taking the vomit off of the pallet, putting it on himself, and Mad choosing to set himself up on the main side. He is going to be getting his corrupt purge already, knowing the location of some of these survivors after just losing Nightlight in that chase there. But wouldn't surprise me now if he kind of hangs out on this side of the map. He knows where the survivors are. He's got corrupt taking care of the other side of the map, and he's looking to get it down. We've got no way out, so we are going to be looking for some value off that as well. And in addition to our incredible perk build here, we do also have an extra pull and 20 extra seconds duration on this corrupt purge, which I'm sure the survivors will call out once it doesn't dissipate when they assume. But we are going to be chasing Bubbo here, already injured by the vomit. The vomit is still up there, not able to hit that. Do we drop the pallet? We don't. We greed. We keep running this tile here. Bubbo doing a really, really nice job with his pathing here, but unfortunately not good enough as he does get down in the middle of the suffocation pit, which really gives Mad his choice of where to hook here.
And that's the most important thing sometimes, right? It doesn't matter how many hook stages you get in the early game if you are able to establish one hook stage in a very, very important position and area. And especially when you then catch a survivor behind the rock and get the injury very, very quickly, and then on top the firecracker not working out, then it's problems team, as the community in Comp DBD would say. 2 survivors down or hooked and 2 survivors injured. So that's a very, very difficult task now here. Nightlight going for the cleanse, knowing that there's a little bit of more resource needed to get out of this tricky situation. Matt, however, seems to just be happy with the hook onto Zaka. So very likely a free unhook onto Bubbo here.
Yeah, really tough basement here on the side that I think Mad wants to be on. He's got 3 gens around here. He's got the basement. He's really set himself up. And I think if anything, Di, we're really seeing that Mad and Team Master did not come here to mess around today. I think that they've come prepared to take on Eternal and to compete in Season 8, and they're doing an absolutely incredible job so far. Mad really taking control of this side of the map.
Yeah, this control is so far enforced really, really well. He has a good idea also, a good understanding of what's going on around him. I really, really like this confidence that's currently shown here by the killer of Master, taking so much responsibility, now locking down the basement as well. He needs to watch out that he's not losing too much time with just guarding the staircase though, because the generators around, they will be attacked. We have a very, very beautiful, let's say typical suffocation pit setup, especially this generator here behind the main building, basically in the back of Mad, is really, really strong, and the fact that he has a 4-gen is very rewarding as well. But we can tell the percentage here on this generator. They are close to it, they are doing it, and they know exactly that they have to break this setup now. The save is coming through, very, very nice movement into the basement in the back of Matt just when he wasn't paying attention, but you do have the power, but you have forced to grab the survivor from the locker, so the other one will make it safely out of the basement. That's going to be the kill now onto Zaka. 4 hook stage into the game, 4-gen Sappho pit with 3 survivors. Doesn't look too good.
No, it's not. It's not the ideal. A beautiful stun coming out there. We're dream teaming it. We've got Bubbo on the stun and the Beamer in play as well. Hopefully we don't have another Sappho pit incident, but that's what I think may be happening here with a kill already. We've got 2 gens left. We've got 2 people running around the main building here in the Sappho pit that does house the basement, and it is surrounded by generators. So it's a really tough spot for Eternal to be in, but I think we all know the power of Eternal. When they are in a 3v1, something seems to come over them and they just play absolutely out of their minds. I think they call it the 3v1 Eternal advantage. But there we see another gen pop as Mad picks up his power, heads on back over to that side of the map, and just like that, the gens are done.
Very, very impressive. When seeing this on the paper, 4-gen setup on the suffocation pit, basement hook, they're absolutely insane setup for Matt, and turning that around with 3 survivors and such a difficult setup while also having the power for the Plague is just an absolute proof and clear evidence of why Eternal is one, or if not the best team, with the efficiency, with the pressure they can build, just out of nowhere, jumping onto the objectives, enforcing what needs to get done here. And now Matt on the last speed run, we have to say, the other survivors already cleansing, but Dan is going down in the main building here. So potentially the last stages coming in here for Matt, but looking onto that, that will still be a very difficult task for Master here. You do have the no way out. So what do you think, Ban? Will Matt try something last second? Because you have a fresh hook here in base.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've got the fresh hook in the basement. We've got a couple of pools around here, but we do already see Bubbo on the gate. Nightlight heading over to it. I think they're more than happy to leave Dan there in the basement, and I think Mad is happy to take Dan in his basement as well. So really nicely done by Mad. I'm just so impressed with his gameplay today, Dyer. He's just done so incredibly well. I know he's been around for a while, he's got experience, but I did not expect these results from him at all. I'm very impressed.
I mean, he played on Colt with me, right? And therefore he learned a lot. Especially from my Blake. No, but you're right. It's worth mentioning, I feel like. Matt, a survivor and a killer that was around a long time, practicing, scrimming whenever he can, willed to learn, looking into other people's strategy, asking also a lot around people that know Matt. He's one who's actively asking for feedback, who's trying to scrim a huge variety of people, who's very respectful in the interaction as well. And you can see that he established himself in the community, and due to getting so much impact, feedback, and opinions, he could really establish a unique playstyle for himself. And today, against Eternal, regardless of this turning out in a 2-1 for Master or a 2-1 of Eternal, we have to say he was absolutely shining on both sides as well. And in the crucial moments when under pressure, endgame against Eternal with the double slug, moments like this you need a player like this who's able to step up in the moment where the team needs him and really say, okay, team, I got it. Trust me on that. So great performance by Matt, great performance by Eternal as well. 2 survivors out, 2 2 survivors staying in the trial. That brings us to a score of 17-15, a slight advantage for Master here, but we're going to figure out who is winning this best of 3, and there's no other chance than using Trial 6 for that. So we are setting it up, and we will be back for you right after a short break.
And welcome back to the Suffocation Pit. We have Zaka from Eternal on the Plague, looking for 8-stage WinCon here. We are versing the survivors of Team Master, who seem to be doing quite a good job at hiding for the moment. Just off spawn, they don't want to get that chase early on, so they will be doing a little bit of stealthing here, it seems. We are running around the basement with the Drago, D-R-A-G-O, and we can see Marco utilizing his build and getting value from Urban. If there's one thing that Dyer and I are absolutely experienced at doing, it is casting Urban Evasion users on the Suffo Pit. It seems to be a trend that we just get all of these games together, Dyer.
Yeah, this is the Milston tech right there, just waiting everything out. Pale, however, is taking the infection. This time I'm getting it right. And that's the difficulty now, right? Because they were setting up for hiding out corrupt intervention and putting a little bit of pressure onto Zaka early on. So the good old strategy from 2019. But if you get caught as a survivor, then you have 0 gen progress. That's the price you pay for this strategy. And that's why teams started to drop them. If it happens, and if you manage to wait out corrupt intervention, it's a lot of pressure onto the killer, but unfortunately it doesn't work out because Pale in a few seconds will be fully infected. Zaka, however, checking the edge map, trying to find a second survivor, and if Master is now able to stealth it out, I do feel like the strategy can still work for him, but Pedro is now caught by Zaka. Here will take more infection, and we have the next chase going on at the shack.
Yeah, Zaka seemed quite happy there just to get a little bit of vomit on Pedro and then head on out. So wouldn't surprise me here if he's going to go for that play where he doesn't want to commit to a chase too early. He wants to build that pressure by getting the survivors infected. As you can see, in kind of leaving chase, going from one side of the map to the other, looking for these survivors, applying the infection and then leaving. So game sense and decision making really needed here for these 8 stages for Eternal to take their first round in Season 8. We are going to be chasing main here, though an early drop of that pallet to make Zaka go around there and to get this chase started. Really nice pathing here. I think we see from Pale, who is infected, so it's just going to take one big swing of Adiris's weapon here, and we will see him go down. But with the mid of Suffo, we do have Ban. We do have a little bit of collision on that wall there. Zaka seemed to get stuck. We'll just play it off as a mind game, so that's fine. But again, following these scratch marks, I think he's ready to commit now that he's... Never mind. I think he's ready to commit to the generator. Zaka really choosing which side of the map he wants to play. I don't think he knows yet. Dyer, how are we gonna know?
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of back and forth on Zaka. I mean, it's the tiebreaker, right? You don't have any, let's say, you don't have any chance to think twice or figure out a good strategy. You have to be on point, and what you decide to do must be correct. The issue is if you adjust it too often, then you're running into the possibility or the risk that the gens are flying around you. And Master, with the perfect punishment here of Zaka's back and forth in the early game, has no survivor down, doesn't get the pressure. We also have quite a few resources still left. There's Ace coming in, Marco taking the job of dropping the resource shack pallet for the injured teammate, so a very nice coordination there as well. Zaka with a long puke that is kind of throwing the survivor off, but Marco with a 2-tap, or better a 2-puke, going down in the shack here, and that's going to be basement. But in difference to Mad, I don't feel like he has a strong gen setup.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Those 2 gens that Master were able to do was quite a nice start for them. The gens being somewhat evenly spread now around the map. But Zaka doing what he does best, finding another survivor relatively quickly. He does have pain res on, but again, kind of difficult to do that unless he's getting the downs, which he's not doing at the moment. So I think he may just kind of float between the hook and the gens on this side, unless we find someone in the middle here. It is Drago. Beautiful blind coming through there from the firecracker. I think we will be taking the chase in the mid, which does make it quite difficult for our survivors to pass if they're on the other side of the map. Zaka does seem happy though just to get that infection on him, an M1, and now finding another survivor here. I think that was Pale, who is fully infected. But again, I'm not sure if he's trying to hold the middle or he's just not committing. Either way, down he goes. Pale down for the count here, and Zaka will pick and take his pain res.
Yeah, now it's difficult, right? Now you have the second stage on Marco in the basement over there. Pale going down relatively quickly as well. Drago injured. And the last standing healthy survivor, Petro, just caught right here and will very likely just be able to trade. We remember that the win condition is 6 stages for this game. Now Zaka is going to have a very difficult... Oh, sorry, yeah, 8 stages. So Zaka is just taking what he has been offered here, but that's already 4 stages now out of nowhere, basically. 3 generators still to go, and all the injured survivors not spread across the suffocation pit. They're right in front of him, ready to be chased. So they will need a very, very long mid-game chase. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very difficult fight. Oh.
Down he goes. That's death hook for Marco. He did go second off there, so it did seem like Zaka knew that the survivors are on the other side of the map, not able to pass him and Drago when they were in mid. So we will be unfortunately saying goodbye to Marco here as he gets put on the hook there. Other survivors, I'm not entirely sure what they're doing at the moment, but we do see some scratch marks, which I think Zaka's happy to forget about and head back to this hill gen that had some progression before, pushing a survivor off there, as we can see once again by them pre-leaving. Must have some really good communications on Master at the moment, and I think Zaka is pretty happy in his spot right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Pedro now with the responsibility for a very long chase. Maybe this one can keep Zaka busy for a longer time, but Zaka just opting to go for this pool over here, getting the Corrupted Purge. That's going to be a 70% on this generator, 10% on the other one. Also nothing where I would say there's too much pressure or any endgame coming out very soon, so Master unfortunately not able to hold the pressure down here. The next chase is still going to be important, but how long can you be chased by a Plague with already leaving resources and the power available for the killer here? So that's going to be quite tricky. Eternal gaining power through Zaka here. The generator is being completed, but the survivor a little bit outzoned with the drop pallet. Already will just break it, but now you're forced to dodge the power. That's going to happen once. Now you have a little bit of line of sight breaker here with the shack, but still half a minute of the power. Mind games coming out between Drago and Zaka. That's going to be the pickup. I doubt that the survivor is close. Yeah, that's just going to be the next hook onto the survivor. So that's a fresh hook. 2 minutes of hang time. You have a lot of potential here to go for the objectives, but they need to do it very, very quickly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if he camps Drago out, that would be the 8 stages as well. So he's choosing to head on over to this side of the map. We do see a very swift save coming on Drago, but in return we see Pale go down on the other side of the map. So a lot of pressure here by Zaka, a really tough spot for our survivor team to be in. If anyone was going to hit that win con, they think that it would be Zaka, and he's looking like he's going to be able to do that now, taking the Corrupt Purge and from what we can only assume, heading back to his side of the map.
Now we are heading back towards the midsection, 7 stages, so Pale dying would seal the deal here. The tiebreaker set on the suffocation pit. Zaka not just camping it, wants to find the next survivor, wants to finish it off with confidence here, especially after the second set that drifted a little bit apart on the Hillbilly, a very understandable approach. So you want to set up confidence for the upcoming week here. Probably the 2-1, not what Eternal wanted here for the opening of Season 8. They will not take the leading position on the scoreboard after week 1, so probably not the position you try to dodge this in it with the last drop. of the
you.
power. Drago is going down right here on the bottom side. It's going to be hooked for hook stage number 8, and that seals the deal. Eternal is taking it home in a 2-1 against Master after a very interesting fight.
Yeah, really nice games between the two. Really nice to watch. So I didn't think it would be this close and come down to the wire as much as it did. Really surprised there, and I think Master coming in strong, well prepared to show us what they're capable of doing throughout Season 8. I think we all know what Eternal are capable of by now, seeing them take the tournament win after tournament win and final after final. So it's nice to see them get challenged. I must say, a lot of the Eternal fanboys going to be coming for me, but it's always nice to see them have a close game and to really get your money's worth watching.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's what the scene needs, right? As much as we love Eternal, the scene needs someone who's beating Eternal. That's just important. We need the competition, we need some challenge, and if Eternal wins in the end, that's fine, but only when Eternal face some challenges and difficulties. Then that's what we accept, otherwise we're not paying the price to Eternal in Season 8. That's the condition here. We do see the next kill onto Pale. Right here, 9 stages now. Drago and Pedro, the 2 standing survivors, may be able to get a 4th generator out. I feel like that would be quite nice and kind of suiting the performance we've seen from them today, even though Zaka is now gaining more and more confidence and actually dominating the suffocation pit with his killer. Drago going to be the next one, twice in a difficult spot. We still have a few good seconds on the power, and a very, very nice dodge here with the crouch tech. Unfortunately, not making it anywhere, so that's just going to be the quick hook onto that. Survivor should be the death, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Pedro
Sure
with
is.
2 remaining 1 cent. That will be endgame now.
Yeah, but look, we're playing for the points and they're not giving
Very
up
nice to
once
see.
again.
Yep.
Yeah, showing good sportsmanship here, trying their hardest till the end, reducing the points gained for Eternal and increasing them for themselves. We are now in the end game. We've got the hatch closed, and it's just a matter of finding Pedro where he's gone. He is going to be glowing green and making quite a large amount of noise. Never mind. He is going to cleanse, which will give away his location, but hopefully they can put on a show for us and have a nice little chase here just to finish off the game and close out the set.
And who knows, right? Maybe these 2 points will decide at the end of the season if you go into the playoffs or not. We have had tournaments before that were decided by 1 generator over the course of 9 weeks. So these 2 points might come in very, very handy later during the season. Pedro here with the slow motion movement, checking onto Zaka. We do see a little bit of power being thrown towards him, but Pedro with patience, checking where the killer is. Very nice, moving back behind the main section, dropping line of sight, and therefore we can enjoy one last 1v1 here between Pedro and Zaka. I would say the challenge now is die to the end game timer and not to Zaka.
I think so. That's the ultimate win con, right? Is how you die. Do you die to the ground crabs or do you die to the killer? I think a lot of the dominances are certainly asserted when you die to the ground crabs, almost as if you can't get me, ha 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 ha. But we are going to see the new feature as well of the visual terror radius on display. So thank you for that one, Behavior. I think there's a few people that are very pleased to have this feature added to the game, and a lot of our players seem to be enjoying it as well. So really nicely done by them. They can't get the game to stay open for our producer for one, but they can implement these cool new features for accessibility. So really nice there. And a bit of a double action as we see the stun and the down. A little bit of nodders. A friendship has formed here on the suffocation pit today, team. As you can see here, we will be asserting dominance, dying to the ground crabs on the suffocation pit, with Eternal taking the win over the Team Master in our first match of the day.
And for all the people that are interested in scores and rules, an endgame kill does count like a normal elimination with all points. The developers consider it a normal sacrifice, so we are just going with that and consider it one as well. Yeah, what an epic fight between Master and Eternal. Thank you so much, guys, for this very interesting 2-1 Meadow 5. Can be very proud with what he has shown us today. Master in general can be very, very proud. Great fight against Eternal. Still taking a set point that also counts and comes in very handy on the scoreboard and in the rankings when we are looking into who's going to make it into the playoffs. So very, very great fight. A great fight is also expected for Scorn versus Cynic, the upcoming game.